morning, everyone, and wish you a wonderful Back Day 2022. It's my great pleasure to be here and honor to be here, and then I thank you, INBAC, for inviting me for this particular event. I thank you on behalf of myself and also on behalf of Hiranandani Group. I'm sure the ecosystem of the BAC community per se will be incomplete without people like us, the developers, the builders. So I believe this is the right forum for me to be here, and then I sincerely thank you for the opportunity given for that aspect. What I found more this community seems to be more system integrators, OEMs, and then manufacturers, if I'm not mistaken, and then consultants. But I did not see any too much representation from the builder community. So finally, I feel more representation from a builder community who are going to be finally your end user. This forum would have been more important from that perspective. And then I think since I am here, this particular forum, I do think that I am in the right forum. And then the best part, you may develop great technology, you may develop, the world may say wow to you, but at the same time, unless and until people like us use, unless you don't create any social impact in the larger way, unless you see the opportunity to improve the bottom line of the end users like us or the community, this will be your invention, or whatever will be another piece of invention that will be going waste. So that's something which is the important thing we all have to look at. And then I'm sure the community per se has put a lot of effort in bringing new technology, especially to India. But I think the maturity on the market was not that great. If you really ask me 10 years back, even we being one of the pioneers in the premium residential and commercial segment, if I go and ask for a budget of X amount, 10 years back, my director will say, MD will say, Martin, we can think about that some other day, not now. Now, this is a 10-year backstory. If you see a 5-year backstory of that, I mean, the tone has changed. The tone was changed. He used to say, we can look at it, but let's have a cut short version of that, scaled down version of that, because I don't want to spend. Now, today, when I ask for a budget of spending some money, he don't say no. So that is the whole sort of change that happened in the whole community per se. And then especially on the builder community, they typically work on mostly the family-driven business. It's treated as a family-driven business. It is not treated as industry per se. Now recently, the real estate and then the real estate segment, builder segment got a sort of acknowledgement as an industry. So I mean, that professionalism getting built into the community. So there are a lot of changes happening in that particular thing. And then I have seen the whole journey of a big no to can look at and must have sort of thing. And that is the real opportunity per se, what I see. I would say now, if you really look at today, I can say some of the happy days are here or going to come very soon. So the movement, the way of the perception of a builder, developer, property owner has moved from not necessary to nice to have, and then today it's a must have. I am standing here in a must have scenario. Now more than you want to sell, I want you. That is the status what I am today. Yeah. And then today I can proudly say the real estate community has matured a lot in that particular aspect. And it's no more a challenge for me to take a budget, get an approval, or look for innovative things and then apply that onto the particular area. Now, what are the drivers for change? I mean, I am not saying this just happened over a period of time or just happened one day. It happened over a period of time with lot of this thing, what is there on the screen. there are set of benchmarks set by the customers itself. I mean, they are the first drivers for people like us to think differently. Now today, if you look at the customer expectation, they benchmark any of the developer with what is available abroad, what is available, or what is the best available abroad, what is the best available abroad, and what can be followed here. These sort of thinking start from the customer, but the first trigger happened from the customer. So again, I'll give an example, just an example. As a developer, I give them an N+1 generator backup or an AQI, the quality air system within the building. But as an end user, he's smart to know, he's smart today. He want to know, Hiranandani promised me an N+1 generator backup. First of all, is the generator working? That is something, first of all, he want to know. On an emergency, whether the generator is working. It is not that my report goes to them every week and then say, my generator is working. No, he don't believe in that. He go one more step ahead and then ask for, I want to see the report live in my premise. And again, I'm committing them for a 48 hours or a 72 hours of generator backup. Whether my generators have sufficient diesel to run. More than me, he want to know, because he has paid me a premium based on that. I charge for a premium for a good quality of air and giving a better AQI inside. Again, since the tenant paid the premium, he want to know whether my air quality inside is better than outside. These are the drivers which automatically started coming from the customer itself. The customers was the first drive, I would say. And then overall, there is a improved awareness on the sustainability side. If you see, this is the common word we hear very commonly. The air part of it, the energy part of it, the water part of it, all we see. I would add probably security and then safety also into one of the parameters. So the awareness, there is substantial improvement in the whole thing. Now again, government policies, if we decide, many of the cases, if we decide not to do, government will force us to do. That things have come. So that's a very good initiative. And then primarily, especially for the last 10 years, if you see, there are a lot of changes happened in that side. And then benchmark is going up every year, if you see. I was going through some circular last week. 1 year back, the EV charging provisioning within the building was 20% and 25% in Maharashtra. 6 months before, when I checked the whole thing, that was revised to 30%. And yesterday when I was looking at it, one of my EC is stuck because I need to put 40% of EV in the car parking area. So this is the type of policies that is coming. And then it is not government has made a policy and then sitting on that. They are keeping it, every time they are lifting it up to the next level. And then there is a clear direction that has been seen. So government policies. And then some interesting matter is that some of the international funds or the finances mostly come on an easy way or a better way if you have the sustainability as a key initiative on your subject. So we are experiencing that. That's one of the key reasons for people like us to think in that direction. Now again, high growth of internet, broadband, whatever you say, the awareness, this connect to the first part which I mentioned, the awareness within the people. If what is available today, what is offered by a builder 5 years back and what is available to me, so there is a constant comparison. Everyone goes to Google and then see what is available to me. When I'm giving something, he even check the spec and then says, hey, this is not right, this is wrong, and this is how we want. These sort of messages comes to them. So that has the last, and especially because of the COVID, due to the entire pandemic season, if you see, the internet penetration has gone up by another 40%. That is what the statistics say. 40% internet penetration means another 400% knowledgeable people in the whole system. So that's how the whole thing happened. And yes, technology definitely helped. The cost of, we realized, or rather I could experience the cost of sensors coming down, the cloud platforms accessibility is coming better, People are well aware about the cloud environment and the price of data storage, etc. coming down. This is one more driver for especially the cost coming down drastically, and then we can see a direction where cost will further come down, and that is the trend that is going to be always. Increase in people cost. Yeah, today if you used to get a BMS guy at X cost 5 years back, not only cost, their skill set 5 years back, he may not be available at that cost, or maybe 2x or 3x sort of thing. So there is a shortage of skill set, and then there is a reliability of the skill set. That's another second part of it. So the question is whether we depend on people or whether we depend on machine or automation sort of thing. This is another key driver. There is a big direction on that side. And then shortage of skill set, as I mentioned to you. Then high competition. So for me, if I am not doing today, someone is going to do it tomorrow. I mean, in a real estate industry, what I can do maximum, I may give from a vitrified tile to a marble, from a marble to an Italian marble, and an Italian marble to a very premium Italian marble. But now the way things are changing around us, there is no time for me to go into that particular change cycle. I need to show something very quickly available to them, an immediate result. This is one of the reasons we found technology, moving to the technology is the best option, because anyway it's a fast flowing river. I just have to jump into that and then it will take me through. So this is one of the drivers we really thought. And then competition, we know. I mean, today we take pride of creating some of the best quality and then premium projects, etc. But that is something anyone can, once you keep your mind decided on that subject, it's very easy for you to catch up. So then, always I'm saying I'm Hiranandani, that probably will not help. When I'm saying I'm Hiranandani, people will look at why I'm called Hiranandani. Again, these factors comes into the picture. So for me, it's all the more important because we believe, at least, I don't know how you treat, we believe that we are on the upper side of the segment. And then if it is easy from there to fall, because there is no way otherwise, or the way is only to fall. So if I at least want to sustain at that position, I need to continuously keep on improving my system. Then improved brand value, yes, it commands a premium. If I'm talking about sustainability, if I'm talking about safety, if I'm talking about security, if I talk about automation, all these finally give a value to the brand per se. And the need for safety and security is another part, which are the three past elements which I mentioned in terms of water, energy, and then air quality. But I will treat safety and security also as one of the key elements which is driving this particular show, which is also I'm putting that into a sustainability category, because this is what we have experienced. People give security aspect of it. So the perception of looking at security in the past used to be treated as just put a CCTV and then you are safe. That things have changed now. Again, this is one of the drivers for doing that. There are many drivers, but I've taken whatever it came to my mind quickly. Sorry. So for those who don't know Hiranandani, I'll just brief. We are one of the largest premium township developers. When I'm talking about township, it's a mixed-use township development. So most of our development, we do the residential, the commercial, all amenities in terms of hospital, schools, the entertainment centers, gardens, whatever possible, everything. So idea is basically once you come to the township, you don't have to go out for anything. That's the whole concept. The first such township we developed at Hiranandani Gardens at Powai. Those days, that was the first such townships available in the country. And then we had a lot of learnings from that. Then subsequently, we start developing township in and around Mumbai. So we have another township at Hiranandani called Hiranandani Estate, Thane. So whatever learnings we had from the first township, we improved that and brought into the next level of a township, which is much larger in size, much broader road, much more improved infrastructure overall. Subsequently, we moved into many other parts. Like we have a few projects in Bangalore, a few projects in Chennai, and then something in Panvel, Kandal. Now many places we have township per se. And then again, we have to primarily to support the ecosystem of the township per se. We have hospitals, supermarkets, schools, and they're all within this particular mixed-use township, and most of them are owned by us. Recently, the second generation has moved into a lot of new technology, new areas such as the energy. We have a company called H Energy. We are into LNG terminal. So we'll be commissioning the LNG terminal at Jaigarh very soon. And then into gas, again degasification plant we have a data center. Recently, a recent initiative, the data center Iota belongs to Hiranandani. We are coming with a lot of logistic park across India and industrial park, and the business presence currently in India, UK, and Singapore and Middle East. These are the key areas we are right now on. So innovation is not something Hiranandani all of a sudden learned to do the innovation. We have been always doing that, and this was always there in our blood, or rather infused in our blood, and always a serious business when we call about innovation. And when innovation, we never did innovation just for the sake of doing it. We tried to create value for every innovation to all the stakeholders, whether it is be it a customer, be it our owners, or the end user, or the neighbors even. Again, the building automation, there have been always this particular concept in our mind. These were one of our key focal area. We always wanted the key accurate data collection points, controls, and effortless monitoring and measuring of our systems, equipments, people, everything. And the whole idea is basically to improve the value for the either a property or to the stakeholders or the residents or whatever sort of. Okay. We went one more step ahead. We wanted not the information coming to us and then waiting and push someone for taking the result. We wanted the decision also to be left to the machines. So this is a big step what we have opted. And these are few of some of the many first that is done through me. I mean, that's why I'm highlighting it. So the first fiber connected buildings in India, rather, I'm talking about this story in 1995, 96, that sort of thing. Hiranandani Gardens used to have fiber connectivity across all the buildings, thinking that one day there will be something called a high penetration of internet, high demand for bandwidth. Probably we're too early to do that. That infrastructure is still there, but nobody uses it. There is another set of fibers that have come and then taken that place. But the point is that we experimented that first. We associated with BSES Telecom of those days. I don't know how many of you know. BSES Telecom had a broadband. BSES Power at that particular point of time had a fiber broadband division. We associated with them, and then we did the first project of connecting the building with fiber. Airtel's first landline service and broadband service in Maharashtra was experimented in Hiranandani Gardens, Powai. And again, same, the U broadband now is associated with Vodafone, if I'm not mistaken. Their first service is rolled out in Hiranandani Gardens in Powai. Vodafone's first IBS, the in-building solution what we see right now for high-rise building, where you get proper signal coverage within the flats even. The first in India was experimented in Hiranandani Gardens, Powai. This I'm talking about in 2006-07 sort of thing. Again, fiber to the home in the real sense. Today everyone know fiber to the home. We delivered, not experimented. We delivered fiber to the home in 2009-10 in one of our premium township at Hiranandani upscale Chennai, and that also in the true sense of FTTH. The concept was to have one fiber infrastructure going to each houses, and then at the back end you have multiple service provider and multiple service running on the same network. This I am talking about 2008-9. Again, probably we were too much ahead of technology those days, but still the best part is that infrastructure being used even today by most of these operators. And today you can see Airtel, Jio, and then all coming with it. Now today it's no more a story. I mean, it's no more an interesting term. Again, working on a video telephony system, SIP-based video telephony system on that FTTH network is something which we experimented and then successfully. Even today we are running on that, most of our township. So most of the things what you see here today, IBS, FTTH, all these are now a standard which is now left for the construction team to do. I wanted to now, these are all nice to have, or now told some stories just to motivate you all. Now it's not a motivation by giving you a presentation. We have done a real use case which I thought I would like to share. This is no more a story which will keep on presenting, and then we will go back and then still find out how to do this, when to do this, what are the challenges. So I thought my experience on how we have done this particular case, I'll present to you, thinking that will be useful to you. The case I'm talking about is Quantum, Hiranandani estate. Here we associated with 3-4 major partners. One is, of course, Beckhoff was our PLC partner, and then the sustainability partner was Tata EcoFirst, and then the system aggregator was Claypot Technologies, and we jointly built a platform called Octopus, where the IoT and then machine learning platforms are built on. So this is the background of the case study. Challenges as a developer. Typical one. Most of the builders sitting here face all these challenges. Nothing great, but I'll still read it out for you. Multiple system working in silos. I have an HVAC, which he will communicate. There is a display for that. I have a lift. There is a display for that. I have something else. I don't know what is my consumption of power, etc. So they are all independent systems working beautifully. They are good in performing their own duties. But for me to sit at one place or to get some sort of data, to connect them together and get sort of data to take business decisions, these were not available. So this was a case of, and then a lot of proprietary system. I know many of you will disagree with me because many of you still run on proprietary system. There is a business system we all acknowledge. But even we manage with a proprietary system, sitting on top of that and still communicate and then getting the result. So I even appreciate the proprietary system even today. I was damn against the proprietary system, but to some extent of proprietorship is okay. Still we can write, there are technology right on top of it. Again, if I want to see what is the operational efficiency of the building, what is the cost spent on this particular building, I mean, it's just my facility manager sends some data altogether. Nobody knows how much is the truth. And then we take some stupid decision believing that data coming to us. And then at some day we realize that particular property, the lease arrangement is not that great. We all of a sudden increase it. Then the client become very agitated. How all of a sudden I started with X, now you're almost 2X in 3 years. This sort of argument comes. So again, there was not sufficient data for us to decide what is the next step to be taken. One, how we can improve the environment. Two, and then again, do I do the same mistakes what I've done in this building in the next building or not? Those sort of decisions were not coming. Again, no proactive approach on failure of the equipment. Same is the case, very difficult for a facility manager to go and then check all the machines. He is not technically qualified to do that. And it's not easy to call all of you, all the vendors, and then take the data on a day-to-day basis, because you don't know when a pump is going to fail, when an HVAC is going to fail or something. So can we wanted to have some data coming which have some predictive capability. Yes, I'm there is a possibility of this equipment failure, this sort of information. So that was missing. And challenge as a developer, 40 years we worked well. Why all of a sudden we need? Will it damage the whole environment, damage the fear of change, that all people have? We also had the same fear. So we bought into the whole system into a particular, I think this happened to be an old slide somehow, anyway. Yeah. So we bought all this into a particular platform. Okay, this is the whole architecture. If you see down, you can see either a smart or a lot of dump equipments or services or sensors lying at one side. This is one area. My remote locations, we have multiple locations, multiple property across different locations. So this is the second layer. And then we created a third layer of cloud environment. Idea was basically to bring into one location, and then the last layer, get it to a meaningful information. By the time it comes through the cloud and then come out, I should have a meaningful information available to at the site for the facility manager to act, in the corporate office for the management to decide. That sort of, and again, that's on your standard, and it could be a mobile or whatever sort of thing. So this is the overall architecture of the whole thing. So the main important, the heart of the whole thing is we call it as a CCC, Command and Control Center. So we bring all this equipment through a particular connection mechanism. I'll come to that later. We bring everything to the central Command and Control Center. And then from there, each equipment's health, the status of health, what is the current running status, health, alerts, all these are triggered from there. Okay, and yeah. So your standard scheduling, we are not disturbing the native arrangement of your HVAC or anything of that sort. We are sitting one step above that, and then if at all this is not happening the way, or if I can give instruction this to based on some of the data what I am collecting, I am pushing that particular data. So all this equipment typically can be control managed from there. Now the beauty of this command and control center, since the data is coming from cloud, I don't have to sit at one particular location. This is one of our big requirement because we have properties across even remote locations like Chennai and all, and very difficult to get an assessment of the whole thing. So today what we have done is that the different locations we are bringing into one cloud platform and then getting it displayed and to a central command and control center. This location or any of this location, either the premise location or the command control center location, it can be anywhere in the world. So we created one in Thane. A big control room is being set up in Powai right now, where we'll have we'll have the real-time status of all the equipment, whether it is smart, dumb, whatever sort of thing. Everything will be monitored, scheduled. We know the health of it. We know the current status of that. We know how much power has been consumed. All these data comes here. So primarily the major 4 elements what we are addressing in this particular thing is primarily one is energy. Every major power using equipments we are monitoring in how much power has been consumed. We are in a position to understand today which circuit use more, what are the equipments connected to that, how we can optimize it, whether it is required or not, whether that's the right way of doing that. All this information right now start coming through so all these panels are different circuits are connected through the IoT platform and then come to the command and control center through the cloud environment. Water, again, all water resources, let it be inlet, outlet, whatever, let it be drinking water, water for power, fire or STP, whatever. The inlets, outlets, both are measured. And Bombay sort of thing, probably Water is not an expensive commodity when it comes to a TMC or BMC environment. But the moment you get into a tanker environment, it's very expensive in terms of drinking water. So again, it's a big challenge to convince the societies or to the maintenance team about the water consumption part. Today, we are in a position to monitor the water consumption to a per liter level to all the tenants, all the residents. And then the best part, we are able to integrate this particular data into my billing automation system, where no one goes to the terminal end or the tenant's place and then check what is the water consumption today. So we don't believe in going to that and then somebody sending a data once in a while. No, this data is real time and it can be monitored and even give the feed to the tenant in some cases. Same as the case of electricity also. There are some cases where we give generator electricity to the tenant. Again, it's an argument. What is the generation? What is my cost of generation, plus my operational overhead, etc. So when it is real time showing to the client, when I say 12 rupees for an MSCDCL power and I am charging you 18 rupees, all of a sudden he become agitated. So today I can say this is my bifurcation, this is my overhead, this is my diesel cost. My diesel cost has increased, so this cost has increased. So the arguments are very less. It's easy for me to convince them in that particular way. Here, another component. Most of our premises, many of the premises we have done it. The air quality to most of the premises are measured. Standard quality, the parameters like your humidity, temperature, PM 2.5, 10, TVOC, all are monitored again using the IoT platform. Again, displayed to the client. We want to be transparent to the client. We always say it's better your employees sit in office rather than sitting at home, because you have a healthy environment in this office than what you're in Bombay at homes. And then especially from a developer's perspective, we are very much focused on the tenant and then the employees' health and well-being. And this building is technically is getting certified as IGBC for the IGBC health and well-being. Safety and security of people, again, we have a lot of monitoring system in terms of starting from your boom barrier to turnstile to visitor management systems to CCTV surveillance, and then people counting, baggage scanner, metal detectors, all. The interesting part is that most of these are dumb devices. There are very limited communication capabilities available with these devices. Even then, we made them smart, and then we even can control these devices, take data from these devices, and then convert them into a meaningful information, and then make the life of a facility manager simpler. I'll get a little bit detail into that. The previous slide, what I was shown. This is a bit detailing of the whole thing. Okay, we have pumps. Yeah, pumps. Multiple. In this particular case, we have pumps for fire, for the domestic use, STP use, sort of thing. As you all know, again, it's a dumb device. Today, we are in a position to give predictive information about this pump. How we are giving this? We measure, first of all, the current going through. I'm just doing a simple logic. I'm not a high-ended technical to explain this to you, but in a common sense, I'm just mentioning how this machine learning is evolved from here. We measure the temperature of it. We measure the current through that. We measure the sound, how much decibel the sound is getting. And then with these three, four parameters, we are getting into a logical conclusion that there is a possibility of failure. How? When this pump is new, we know what we approximately know what is the current that has been consumed, or voltage, whatever sort of thing, the power consumption part of that. Normally, when the pump become older and older, or when the trouble comes, typically the power consumption get more and more. Again, when it is about to fail or after some usage, when the current is more, the temperature also increases on the pump. Okay, again, second data collection point we are taking. Third data collection point, when these two parameters are wrong, automatically it technically start developing some sound, abnormal sound. So we check the decibels of that particular motor. So these are all not done most of the time not by touching the machine, touching the motor. It is done in a remote sensing way. And finally, we are in a position to arrive at a conclusion or to a reasonably good logic. I'm not saying it's 100%, but a reasonably good logic that there is a possibility of failure of that machine, or this machine is doing something wrong, using more power. So better we get it checked, get the right, call the technician or get a spare, this sort of thing. Like that, if you see most of this stuff you see here are monitored in that particular way. Again, pumps I have mentioned, jet fans. This building being this has got two basements, lot of car parking down. The amount of carbon monoxide that is generated is sometimes goes into dangerous level. We have the standard jet fans, but at the same time, we monitor them into the detail. Even to an extent, we have mapped the airflow into through a graphical interface, and then show when the jet fan is on, how the jet flow, the pattern is. We have marked, and then it is showing in the live display in the command and control center. Now, if any one of the jet fan fail, again the flow difference you will be able to see. Now, a technician come and then do a jet fan fitting something in a different way, or angle something change little bit, or whatever sort of thing. Again, you will see the airflow difference there. So I'm not sending my facility manager down and then check. He will never find it out also. Today, we are in a position to say that my jet fans are working in the most efficient way, which sitting here, I can say. Again, we are monitoring the power consumption of that. And then the jet fan has got its own native systems of identifying the carbon monoxide, etc. But again, I am doing one step ahead. I'm sitting on top of it and then doing the same sort of measurement and adding value to the whole thing. So I naturally keep a redundancy of the whole thing. Wind, again, is a very interesting thing. It looks funny at some time, but at the same time, we measure wind. I'll tell you an incident that happened when we are doing this particular project in the month of June, July. There was a heavy wind at this particular building, and all of a sudden, the glass door opened suddenly, and then some garbage started coming in, and then some of the arts photo frames and all fell down. So again, we started thinking how this could be a situation for all the floors now. This happened in the lobby. We got a wind sensor installed, and today we are in a position we are giving information to the reception, to whatever sort of thing, on a particular speed of wind. We are giving an announcement in the lobby automatically. There is no where I'm talking about, there is no manual intervention. Automatic in the lobby, yes, there is a wind going outside. This is the speed. And when it goes something beyond it, the voice becomes louder and send a serious message. And then when it is on threshold level, the doors get automatically closed using the actuators, and then that is locked, so that there is no more, or it could be in windows also. We have not done for windows till now, but all the doors, especially in the main lobbies, are done through this. As an example, we did it from our real-time experience. Access control, I mentioned, we have so many in terms of your boom barrier, flap barrier, etc. So we use the BLE based system, so you can just tap and go, or you can remotely show your mobile and then go, or you can use an access card, and some areas even we have the face recognition happening. Okay. DG sets, again, today we are in a position to, as I told some time back, we are in a position to monitor how much energy that has been generated from it. What is the diesel availability in that particular generator at this point of time, accuracy to the tune of 1 liter. And then we are in a position to clearly address how much hours it can run and how many. And again, nobody is going to the generator on a rainy day and then checking what is the availability. It has got in sometime it has got indicators showing there. But here we are in a position to show to my control room. And then the best part, we are in the process of developing a dashboard only for generator, which will talk about what is my total generation through that. For some sort of sustainability initiative, we are measuring that and bringing into one level. And then I know what is my consumption across India. STP, again, as a metering is one part, power metering the second part. We even check the pH level of water, turbidity, etc. And then when something wrong, we ensure that before the foul smelling water goes to the customer premise, at least we get an information first that something went wrong. So that customer satisfaction, convenience, that from that perspective, we can assure much better customer satisfaction. Water metering, as I mentioned, every drop of water going to premises, we are measuring. Treated fresh air, again, we have a fresh air system. There's a key part to the AQI, ensuring the AQI part within the premise. And then again, we have gone one more step ahead. First of all, the filter is working. Now everything is fine. And then after 6 months, 1 year or something, nobody is going to climb up and then check. Possible, some people may do that, but we can't rely on them to totally. So sitting here, I know what is the status of my filter at this given point of time. Not only that, I have integrated this to my SAP system, where PR is made based on the, even for generator diesel also for that particular, a PR is made on the SAP system to order it. So that level we have gone to the integration. So it is not, we have not done only for the happiness of the facility manager, not only for the happiness of the builder or my owners, not only for the happiness of me. We brought everyone into the frame. Everybody's life we are touching and then doing that. Visitor management system, we have this charging station, surveillance. Again, surveillance is standard. We use a lot of video analytics, and then it's there. Power meter, which I mentioned, elevator to some extent, because typically there are a lot of resistance from elevator companies to integrate weather system. But at least we are in a position to show the status, one-way feed, I will call it as, to my command and control system. Again, smoke and fire alarm system is integrated to the same thing. So in case of any fire, again, the data is available, in terms the action is available. And then the best part, because of the multiple combination of data available, we have almost 2,000 to 2,500 data points being collected from that location. Okay. Now, in case of any fire, because of the multiple logic built in, and with the beauty of AI and machine learning, we are in a position to say in this particular floor, 10 people are stuck. And then again, in that particular event of fire, I am assuming my command and control center also is in fire. Still, we can get the data from a remote location and then guide the local agencies to tackle it in a much efficient way. Temperature and all this I've already mentioned. So this is the whole architecture of the whole thing. This is not something which I'm showing on the presentation. This is something you all can see live working in one of my environment. Again, a strong communication network. A smart building never comes without any smart network present here. And you can't say only a fiber, you can't say only an Wi-Fi, you can't say only. We have all the from our experience, what we have done is that we have all these combinations of connectivity coming. We have dark fiber, any sort of fiber coming to the Wi-Fi network. We have the low frequency RF network, Cat6 network, all this sort of. So finally, you have to, this is a very important thing we normally miss. Network is a very important thing, and that is how your connected building, the word itself shows that, so I don't have to tell you much about that. Project challenges, maybe this is only my view, not talking to anyone or objecting anyone in person. non-cooperating vendors begin, because I believe lift vendors, see, I'm the master of the whole thing. You don't teach me. If everyone start telling me, then don't teach me, then my objective is not met. So this is a big challenge. Again, I'm sure there are a lot of consultants sitting here. Again, not naming you or framing you or anyone, that sort of thing. Issue is that the consultants sometimes how much they are updated on that current scenario many times become a question mark. That's my experience. Nothing personal for those sort of my best friend consultant sitting here, but what's our experience? The lack of understanding about the latest happening around, that is missing, was a big challenge when I started this particular project. I say nothing is going to happen. It's another waste of Hiranandani's money. This was standard message my boss got from the consultant. Now, again, keeping the integration cost under control. This is not something someone has already done and then I can take a sample costing and then do a backward calculation. No, this is something we did from our thinking with the help of all these partners which I mentioned. And finally, it's very difficult to put the cost under control. At the same time, I will call it as a challenge. We still kept the cost very much in control. Again, most of these buildings are not designed in the planning level to accommodate the automation environment. And then especially this particular use case, I am entering at a stage where tenants started coming in. And a lot of difficulty, so many things are lost, many things the way we wanted, probably we could not, but finally we met the objective. Yeah. Again, the next challenge was, as I mentioned, the building was live. To work in an operational environment without disturbing the client premise, without having any too much trouble to the client, how we do that was another big challenge for me. Expectation. Unless you keep your KPI clear, what you want at the end of the day, if you are not clear, I could have run this project for the next 10 years. So by the time the technology will say, one vendor will come and say, my technology has changed, this has changed. So the point, you have to be very clear, at least be practical on that side. These are my wish list, but how many of them are important for me to kick off my day one or kick off my year two? These sort of things should be very clear. Otherwise, these sort of projects will never ever go up. These are my experience. I am also telling you from a failed experience. It's not that I have done everything successfully. There are a few failed experiences which I don't want to showcase you on this one. And another big challenge, as I mentioned, there were not so many integrated projects per se available for us, at least to refer in terms of into the large scale. I'm talking about in this particular building, any device you can think about, we have integrated. Okay. Limited time. We started the project when the client came in. We started it in the month of April. And we had to deliver October, November, we had to deliver, and we have done it. Again, why? Because we did not do any magic. We set our deliverables clear into phases. Phase one, this is what I'm going to do. Something which is going to have major impact, we wanted to do that in that first 6-7 months. Skilled manpower, something is missing. Okay. Skilled manpower. Again, was a big challenge. There was an issue, and we managed it. And then availability of material resources, which we are even facing today, that is again was a big issue. Unfortunately, I'm sorry, the slide was slightly older, so I'm not getting the right connect to that. I would say now, again, this is my experience. You guys are experienced in this field. I've handled a couple of projects. You handle hundreds of projects. There's a big difference. But this is my idea about the key success. If you're in an open architecture environment, as we all know, it is very easy for us to integrate. We purposely kept IP as the protocol for integration. Anyone which we believe it was there for quite some time, it isn't going to be there for some more time. And especially I am from an IT background. I'm the group CIO. I know what it can deliver. And then that is something which we decided on. Let us have a protocol, open protocol, open architecture sort of thing. And then which will automatically give the second part, interoperability automatically comes with that. So we need to take all this vendor into confidence. We are not jumping into your territory. We are not taking your business. This sort of confidence building was the next part. Otherwise, again, if one guy decide, I'll just don't share, I don't just cooperate. So again, it's going to be a failure sort of thing. So KPI milestone, which I mentioned, we had clear KPIs in terms of what is on phase 1, phase 2, phase 3. And this phase never ends, it will continue. What is the best part is that now it's like a Christmas tree, very relevant to the season. I would say I have created the tree, I have created the network, I have created the basic infrastructure, some gifts started. Tomorrow, one more gift I get, I'll be able to hang it very quickly. That's the way I'll connect with the real life scenario. And we have to look at also the system aggregator. We call here as system aggregator. So he is not a real system integrator per se. He aggregate all you guys and then finally bring. And then his domain expertise also count a lot. And then as a system integrator, we need to, I believe at least in that way, once the contract is signed, we should keep the paper aside and then should work in a better understanding way. So give little bit of freedom to do. This is something which I should advise to my peers in the real estate industry, but still I am telling you, if you are giving little bit of freedom to these system integrators, because again, I'll be doing for the first time. They would have done something differently in 10 different or 100 different projects. So their experience we should not ignore. Again, serious in-depth involvement into the particular project. You give the order to the SA and expecting the result to be delivered at the end of the day, it is not going to happen. Every Monday you call him and then call him for a project review meeting and then you are going to fire, it is not going to happen. Your involvement has serious time commitment, or rather from my side I would say. That was one of the reasons we spent a lot of time. For us, it's a new thing and then new learning initiative, something which we want to do totally differently. So a lot of time was spent on that. I was personally there most of the time to ensure what type of data should come, what is the best possible way to do that, what is the type of GUI that has to be, what is the from an KPI point of view where we have to reach. We're very clear and then we were involved in that particular thing. Okay. And then another part which you all people will like, we should trust the SA, the system aggregator. And then you should consider him as a partner, not as a vendor the moment you sign the contractor. That's what we did. We give a lot of free hands to the SA. We trusted them and then they delivered. So by this, I would like to conclude my presentation. Thank you all. Again, this is my personal experience, may not be right, but I can tell you that this is something which we delivered and then you all can experience. So you are all most welcome to come and see my premise in Thane whenever you are in Bombay. So if you have any questions.
Compliance, any criteria or any cost for selecting that particular vendor, and how you deal with the shortage of the skill and competition.
Yeah. The first part without the first question, if I'm mistaken, what was the incident of failure or threat or something like that?
And how you ensure the security?
Yes, we did have most of the systems. There few systems were existing at that particular point of time. What we did is that it's not that we just removed those set of controllers and then put another sort of controller. No, we did a sort of fallback arrangement, and in some of the cases even fallback will not happen. So we used We used to do this with an informed decision to the client and then facility manager and then that sort of thing. So it's more a sort of, I would say it's a combination of managing it well rather than stopping the failure. And if the failure was there, it was a known failure. We know when I remove this, it is going to happen. So what is the next option available to that? So that was the first answer to your question. And then second, you talk about the, yeah. Again, when we reached there, most of the vendors were already present. So I did not have much choice rather than to work with that particular vendor. But we explained to them the larger picture of the whole thing. And then again, on the technology, we always we gave them an upper hand in terms of something which I mentioned to you earlier. We never say we are going to kill your system and we are going to take control. That was not the objective. The objective was clear, and then their system still is going to continue. Nothing is going to stop that particular thing. So that confidence was built, and this is yeah. So this is the one of the way of tackling that particular point. So your third was compliance. Compliance, this particular building, we normally do most of the compliances per se in terms of standard, the building norms, etc. Something which are extra doing is in terms of the IGBC, health and well-being, and IGBC green. So whatever that particular parameters, we are taking care. And all the moment we are getting, because just we are going into the security, the cloud side of it, we are taking the adequate security in terms of firewall and then restricting the opening of the data, etc. That sort of compliance is being taken care. And then wherever possible, there is a communication front. We are ensuring there is an end-to-end encryption happening from the security front. Okay, so just because of I will have a one-to-one and then explain that a bit in detail. Yeah, okay, I think I have taken too much time. I planned for a half-an-hour presentation. I'm really sorry for that. Thank you so much. Thank you.